If you've watched much of Fox News primetime shows over the years, you've probably seen civil rights attorney Leo Terrell. Most often, you can see him on Sean Hannity's show, pissed off, spouting stupid Democrat talking points, always holding the position of the mad-at-the-world black leftist. I honestly don't watch much of anything these days on television beyond Tucker Carlson, but when I do happen to notice folks like Larry Elder, Victor Davis Hanson, or Dinesh D'Souza, among a few others, make an appearance, I try to sit down and watch. The notorious Mr. Terrell often appears alongside Larry Elder, among others, for the typical cable news shouting match we've all grown very, very tired of. Once again, Leo always holds the position that everything is racist, every Republican is racist, and for damn sure Donald Trump is racist. And then all hell broke loose from coast to coast. Rioters were burning down businesses across the country. Old female shop owners were being dragged out and beaten in the streets. A retired police chief was shot and killed on Facebook Live in St. Louis. Liberal politicians everywhere, through their insatiable hunger for votes, found themselves stuck once again on the wrong team. Between a rock and a hard place, if you will. All of a sudden, somehow with a straight face, they had no choice but to defend this mixture of privileged brats and opportunistic thugs, while at the same time castigate law enforcement openly and blatantly. You see, these are the situations I look at as an on-the-spot gut check, so to speak.
What is driving you right now?
Thank you very much for having me, Mark. And, I have 30 years invested as a civil rights attorney, public school teacher, as you mentioned, and I'm frustrated and disappointed in the Democratic Party and the left. I mean, it really started a couple of weeks ago when Joe Biden made that comment, that awful comment, that insulting comment that if you vote Republican, you ain't black. I'm a civil rights attorney. That statement was condescending and insulted every African-American, every American. And then you follow up with a series of protesting, which is perfectly okay. But the failure of the Democratic Party to call out the rioting, the looting, the murder, is just something that I, as a civil rights attorney, could no longer sit and just basically stay quiet. And then you have the ultimate insult of talking about defunding the police. I want everyone to know that I have a sister in law enforcement, and I may criticize bad police officer because, Mark, 97, 98% of the officers are great. They protect you and I at 2 and 3 in the morning. And 2 or 3%, like the George Floyd situation, horrible. But my goodness, to defund the police, to take away law and order, and then you have this unbelievable situation where the Democrats will not criticize Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is disingenuous. Why? Because there's only certain black lives that they care about. What about that retired black officer, David Dorn? Black man, murdered, defending a business. I didn't see black lives there. I didn't see Al Sharpton there. It's certain blacks that they care about to profiteer the black community. Where's the Democratic leadership? Calling out the protesters. They're fine, but never criticizing the looters, never criticizing those who are burning property. That drives me nuts. And then what I cannot understand is when there's an opportunity to do legitimate police reform, when you have a great South Carolinian Senator, Tim Scott, working his butt off 24/7 to get justice reform, and the Democrats will not work with him because they don't want the perception that the Republicans are working on police reform. And finally, Mark, you know what? People may criticize the president, but what America doesn't want? Law and order. I do. President Trump does. And here's a man with an executive order, accomplished more with a stroke of a pen regarding police reform, creating a database, than what the Obama and Biden administration have done in 8 years. That is why I am being consistent. That is why I am speaking out. I have credibility to speak out, and I will continue to speak out on these issues that I have just raised.
I'm certainly not the only one to notice Leo's transformation. 100%fedup.com had this to say. Quote, civil rights attorney Leo Terrell went on a Twitter storm today. Democrats should take notes. A few weeks ago, he began giving scorching commentary against Black Lives Matter and Democrats. Quote, he hasn't said he'd vote for President Trump until today, when he went on a social media rant against Democrats. He tweeted, quote, if the presidential election was held today, I would vote for #Donald Trump. America is more important than party loyalty. Civil rights attorney Leo Terrell, a black male Democrat that has made his way on national television, propping up the Democrat Party and their hateful ideology, took a good look at his party's current condition and said enough. Folks, he's definitely not the only one out there. If I repeat myself, a black Democrat civil rights lawyer / TV personality suddenly, for all intensive purposes, takes the red pill, I think it's a sign that black Americans across the country are going to hand the Democrats a shit sandwich in November, despite all the bullshit polls. And you know what? I might enjoy watching them eat that sandwich as much, if not more, than I did in 2016.